Ito ang 106.3 Dance Radio. Dance Radio.
Prepare yourself.
Ang silid-aralan sa radyo, hatid namin ay nakabagong paraan ng pagtuturo at kalaman. Mapaumaga, tanghali o hapon man yan. Ang istasyong magbibigay impormasyon kahit saan man.
For something big.
Alright, here we go.
106.3 Dance Radio. Doña Aurora National High School, Santa Rita, Aurora, Isabela.
This
106.3 DWBR-FM. Music, arts, physical education, and health. Mga aralin na dapat malaman, inyong tututukan dito sa 106.3 Dance Radio. Ang istasyong magbibigay ng edukasyon kahit saan man at ang silid-aralan sa radyo. 106.3 DWBR-FM. Sa MAPEH, learning is amazing.
Wala pa. Ayan. We are live. Alasor naman. Oh, natakpan ako. Yan. May liwanag na. Isang radio. Sir Ibes? Yes, of course. Lesson, Sir Ibes. Yeah. So, pause nga natin sandali para makita nila ang ating grade 9 are expected to first, discuss the basic of first aid. Second, demonstrate the proper procedure in conducting basic life support. And the third one is apply proper first aid procedure
ano naman, dito may katabi akong pogi. Ciao. Your section and yung correct answer, of course. Then, pwede rin pong tumawag sa number na ito, 0915-380-1112 or 0997-842-5130. Abangan lamang po yung mga questions natin as we go on to our discussion this morning.
Okay, thank you very much, Sir Ibes. Paala-ala lamang. Paano nga ba maging effective ang pakikinig lalo na ngayong may RBI modality tayo? Narito ang mga paraan na mabisang pakikinig. Una, maging handa sa pakikinig. Pangalawa, sikaping mawili sa pakikinig. Pangatlo, kilalanin ang mga pangunahing isipan o konsepto. Pang-apat, iwasan ang pagpuna agad sa tagapagsalita. Panglima, iwasan din ang pagpuna agad sa mensahe at ang pang-anim, sikaping wag pansinin ang mga kaabalahan sa pakikinig. At pakinggan ang RBI area ng Health Education 9. Enjoy listening. Let us all listen and learn. Huwag kayong alis, kami ay magbabalik.
Music, arts, physical education, and health. Mga aralin na dapat malaman, inyong tututukan dito sa Dance Radio. Ang istasyong magbibigay ng edukasyon kahit saan. Ito ang 106.3 Dance Radio. Totonya Aurora National High School, Santa Rita, Aurora, Isabela. Ang silid-aralan sa radyo. 106.3 DWDR-FM. Dance Radio. Sa MAPEH, learning is amazing.
Good day, grade 9 learners. I am glad to be with you in 30-minute broadcast. I hope that you will enjoy our interesting topic. Please get your writing materials and learning activity sheets so we can start our lesson in Health 9. The learning activity sheets provide you different activities that will help you become familiar with the topics or lessons about safety and first aid. Assistance of your parents, siblings, or relatives is encouraged in answering the learning activity sheets, particularly in the activities where you need to perform tasks. Are you ready to start? From the previous lesson in health, you have learned about drug education. You have learned the basic terms used in the study of drugs of abuse, classified drugs of abuse according to their effects in the body, discussed the risk and protective factors of drugs and applied decision-making skills and the use of resistance skills in different situations related to substance use and abuse. What is the most common type of substance of abuse among Filipino?
Ma'am, these are methamphetamine hydrochloride or known as shabu, cannabis sativa or marijuana, and inhalant or solvent.
Very good! What is the difference between risk and protective factors of drugs?
Ma'am, risk factors are those influences which increase the chances of abusing drugs, while protective factors, on the other hand, are those influences which decrease the chances of using, misusing, and abusing drugs.
Great idea! How are you going to prevent drug abuse?
Ma'am, We can prevent drug abuse by sharing the disadvantages of drugs to our friends, family, or even the community.
Amazing! What else?
We can prevent drug abuse by good communication with all family members, especially parents, ma'am.
Wow! I like that! If you were wondering how to prevent drug abuse problems for your loved one, the answer is family involvement. One's involvement in their family is the key to prevent drug abuse. Families play the most important roles in determining how children handle the temptations to use alcohol, cigarettes, and drugs. That is why don't ever try to use drugs for any reason. Drugs are drugs. Drugs can ruin anything, including your dreams, family, career, and even your life. Am I understood?
Yes, ma'am.
For today's lesson, you will be learning the basics of first aid. These are principles, roles, responsibilities, and characteristics of a good first aider. Identify common unintentional injuries in the school setting, assess emergency situations for unintentional injuries, and demonstrate the proper procedure in conducting basic life support, which is the primary and secondary survey of the victims. That is why you need to awaken your senses as you gain more information about unintentional injury, prevention, safety, and first aid. I'll be right back after this short infomercial.
Accidents happen. Someone chokes on an ice cube or gets stung by a bee. It is for life-threatening emergencies. While waiting for help to arrive, you may be able to save someone's life. Cardiopulmonary Resuscitation, CPR, is for people whose hearts or breathing has stopped, and the Heimlich maneuver is for people who are choking.
You can also learn to handle common injuries and wounds. Cuts and scrapes, for example, should be rinsed with cool water. To stop bleeding, apply firm but gentle pressure, using gauze. If blood soaks through, add more gauze, keeping the first layer in place. It is important to have a first aid kit available. Keep one at home and one in your car. It should include a first aid guide. Read the guide to learn how to use the items, so you are ready in case an emergency happens.
Kayo nakikinig sa Health Grade 9. Kasama si Teacher Monica, Jill, and Pete.
I'm back. What do you think is the infomercial all about?
Ma'am, the infomercial we have just listened talks about the things that we need to know about first aid.
Exactly! Accidents may happen. That is why we should always be ready to perform first aid while waiting for health professionals to arrive. Are you familiar with this famous line? Is prevention better than cure?
Yes, ma'am.
This line is often said by our parents, especially when we committed accidents unexpectedly.
Wow! For our discussion today, why is prevention better than cure?
Ma'am, prevention is better than cure teaches us to follow prevention methods and be careful always to remain away from the problems.
Amazing answer! What else?
Ma'am, prevention is better than cure is excellent teaching to us to save us from being ill and help us be in well-being status.
Good job! Practicing this principle, prevention is better than cure, advocates safety awareness, which is essential in achieving quality of life. But our immediate environment poses a danger to everyone. No place is considered safe, not even in the comfort of our homes. Accidents may happen to anybody at any location at any time. Thus, taking the proper safety measures greatly helps prevent accidents and injuries. Nevertheless, when accidents happen, it is vital to have the knowledge and skills to deal with them. Having knowledge and skills on safety education and injury prevention could help you, your loved ones, and other people in your community during emergencies. Safety education is essential because living is more enjoyable when we are safe. Therefore, make safety a vital part of life. This time, let us deepen more our understanding of safety education. I'll be right back after this short reminder.
Pangarap? Droga?
Droga? Pangarap?
Pumili ka. Isa lang.
Dahil kapag nagdroga ka,
Pangarap mo'y walang halaga.
pamilya, droga,
Droga? Pamilya?
Pumili ka. Isa lang.
dahil kapag nagdroga ka,
Kinabukasan ng pamilya'y wasak na.
Buhay? Droga?
Droga? Buhay?
pumili ka, isa lang.
Pero pag nagdroga ka,
Buhay mo parang tinapos mo na.
huwag kang Isang paalala mula sa Doña Aurora National High School at mga
Ikaw ba ay batang magtatapos ng elementarya ngayong taong panuruan 2021-2022?
O di kaya'y batang nagnanais lumipat o bumalik sa pag-aaral sa ating paaralan.
Simula sa ika-25 ng Marso
Hanggang ika-30 ng Abril
ay magsasagawa ang Doña Aurora National High School
ng pagpapatala
o early registration para sa taong panuruan 2022-2023
Bisitahin ang Facebook page ng Doña Aurora National High School
at i-click ang link upang makapagtala sa takdang araw.
para sa mga hindi makapag-access online. Huwag mag-alala, i-aanunsyo sa ating istasyong 106.3 FM
Dance Radio ang iba pang impormasyon.
tinggil sa ating early registration.
Mag-register na! Maging parte ng Amazing Dance Family!
Isang impormasyon mula sa pamunuan ng Doña Aurora National High School at ng himpilang ito. Kayo nakikinig sa Health Grade 9. Kasama si Teacher Monica Jill and B.
I'm back! Welcome to our first safety adventure! Today, you will learn about the basics of first aid, its meaning and importance. You are expected to discuss the characteristics of a good first aider and the roles, responsibilities, and principles of first aid. Are we all? Let's start our adventure. First aid is immediate and temporary care given to a person who suddenly gets ill or injured. It includes self-help and home care if medical assistance is not available or delayed. It can mean the difference between life and death in extreme cases. However, we must know the limits of the first aid we can give because improper first aid can do more harm than good in some instances. Anyone who gives first aid is a first aider. How about the roles of first aid? Do you know some?
Yes, ma'am. The role of first aid is to give someone this help.
Excellent! The roles of first aid are: first, it is a bridge that fills the gap between the victim and the physician. Second, it is not intended to compete with or to take the place of the services of the physician. And lastly, it ends when the service of the physician begins. What are the objectives of first aid?
Ma'am, the primary objective of first aid is to prevent death or severe injury from worsening.
Wow! Aside from this, the objectives of first aid are to save lives, prolong life, alleviate suffering, and prevent further injury. With this, let us have some more after this short reminder.
Accidents can often be prevented. We feel very safe inside our homes. But there have been times when we have met with accidents at home. Have you ever been hurt at home? Yes. Many of you may have gone through small accidents at home. Let us see the stories of some kids. At Priya, she is in the kitchen. Is there any risk of her getting hurt? She is touching the knife. A knife is a very sharp object and she may cut her finger. Kids should never play with sharp objects like knives or scissors. Oh no! Priya is trying to turn on the gas stove. Her mother came in at the right time. Why should kids never light the gas stove? Kids should never turn on the ignition of the gas stove. It is very dangerous. Cooking gas catches fire immediately. Monica is trying to plug in the charger in the electric socket. Her mother immediately stops her. Why did Monica's mother not let her put the electric socket? We can get electric shocks if we touch the electric wires or sockets. Children should never use electric gadgets on their own. In schools, while going up or down the stairs, we may slowly and never push anyone. Following simple safety rules can make life much safer for us and others. In case someone is hurt, we should never panic and immediately call for help. Giving immediate care in the form of first aid to the injured or sick person can prevent a person's condition from getting worse. First aid should be given by those who have been taught how to do it. For small cuts or wounds, wash the wounded area with water and apply antiseptic cream. If there is a bleeding, tying a bandage is helpful to stop bleeding. For slight burns, keep the burnt area in cold water for some time and also apply ice. Serious injuries or burns have to be treated by a doctor.
Kayo nakikinig sa Health Grade 9. Kasama si Teacher Monica GLB.
I'm back! Welcome to our second safety adventure. What is all about the infomercial you just have listened to?
Ma'am, the infomercial we have just listened to talks about the safety rules we should take in our day-to-day lives.
Great answer! First aid knowledge is invaluable for both you as an individual and your community. It enables you to assist persons who became injured in an accident or emergency until help arrives. Can we all be the first aider?
I guess, ma'am, no.
Correct! The answer is no. Not all can be a first aider. But we can be a first aider if we are willing to learn and trained about the first aid basics. Who is then a good first aider?
Ma'am, a first aider should be able to keep their cool under pressure and manage tasks while having an awareness of the overall situation.
I like your answer. Among lots of qualities of a good first aider, these are the top 5. First, gentle. What is gentle?
Mom, gentle means does not cause pain and panic.
Good answer! Let us be gentle in handling the sick or injured person. Second, observant. What is observant?
Mom, observant means notices all signs.
Good job! This is one of the most important characteristics a first aider should have. He or she should notice the signs and symptoms of what's happening to the patient.
Mom, resourceful makes the best use of things at hand.
Good job! A first aider should be able to make good use of what's available to him or her, whether it's making use of curtains for bandages or magazines for splints. Fourth, tactful. What is tactful?
Mom, tactful means do not frighten the victim.
Excellent! The first aid responder should know how to state observations or diagnoses calmly and factually that would not incite panic in the patient. And lastly, sympathetic. What is sympathetic?
Mom, sympathetic means comforts and reassures the victim.
I like your answer. The first aider should use sweet and encouraging words to lessen the victim's distress. He should keep the victim as comfortable as possible and should be able to allay the victim's fears with sympathy. There are several personal qualities which you should look for when looking for a first aider. Adequate first aid is more than just technical skills, and it's also about an individual's people skills, ability to work under pressure, and common sense. Welcome to our third safety adventure. This time, we will be tackling the principles of first aid, the do's and don'ts in giving first aid. Knowing the principles of first aid can be life-saving. Why do we need to know these principles?
Ma'am, we need to know the principle to know what to do in case of emergencies.
Wow! Great. Knowing the principles of first aid can be life-saving. These are the do's in giving first aid. 1. Do stay calm. 2. Do reassure and comfort the victim. 3. Do check for a medical bracelet indicating a condition such as epilepsy or diabetes. 4. Do loosen any tight clothing. And lastly, 5. Do keep the victim covered to reduce shock. Vice versa, we also have don'ts in giving first aid. 1. Don't give food and drink to an unconscious person. And 2. Don't move an injured person unless you need to place him or her in the recovery position.
I'm learning a lot, Ma'am.
Wow! I like that! Are you ready to proceed to our fourth safety adventure?
Yes, Ma'am. We are ready.
Open your learning activity sheets on page 2. Do activity 1 titled Emergency, Emergency. What will I do?
Emergency, emergency. What will I do?
Directions. Read the following situations. For situation number 1, what would be your necessary immediate action to this situation? Your cousin who does not know how to swim falls into a deep river.
Ma'am, I will call an adult or anyone near to help my cousin survive from drowning.
Great. If young and does not know how to swim too, call for an adult or anyone near to help your cousin. If no one is around, call any emergency number. If can swim, take off your shoes and unnecessary clothes to dry your cousin with after he or she gets out. Swim to him and save him. If you have something that can float nearby, it is easier to swim with that and let your cousin hold onto it so you would not get tired. Do the remaining activities or situations at your most convenient time. Let's proceed to activity 2, titled, Is he a good first aider?
Is he a good first aider?
Directions. Analyze the situations and answer the processing questions that follow. Student A is very relaxed in controlling the bleeding on her classmate's finger. Student B is insisting that her unconscious sister drink water. Student C immediately brings her friend, who fell down the stairs, to the clinic. Student D makes use of his clean handkerchief to tie his best friend's bleeding arm. Student E speaks comforting words to her cousin who sprained his ankle while playing basketball. For the processing questions, for number 1, who among the students are good first aiders? Why?
Ma'am, students A, B, D, and E were the good first aiders. This can be seen through their actions. They possess appropriate knowledge and skills of the proper application on first aid could greatly help alleviate pain, preventing further injury, prolonging and even saving lives.
I like your answer. And for number 2, if you were the first aider, what would be your goal? Write your answers on a separate sheet of paper. For your activity 3, titled, Share your heroism.
Share your heroism.
Directions. Share your experience to help other people in an emergency by answering the guide questions. Let us answer the first question. Here is the question. How can be your experiences help you in an emergency? What is your answer?
Ma'am, I have an experience on this situation where I was able to help someone who is very needy. Helping a person in an emergency situation was very sad. It was so hurtful, but still on the end, after the succession on the help you did, you'd feel happy for the opportunity to help someone.
I love your heroism. Great sharing. Do the remaining items on your most convenient time after the broadcast. For your activity 4, performance task, titled, Cartoon or Comic Strip.
Cartoon or comic strip.
Directions. Draw a cartoon or comic strip showing a person ready to help other people through his or her knowledge and skills in first aid. Write or draw the things, qualities, information, skills that she or he should have in applying first aid. Criteria, clarity, completeness, and creativity. Before we end up our lesson for today, let me check if you really understood the lesson. We are now on our last safety adventure. Why we should be always careful in our everyday living.
Ma'am, because we are very prone to accidents.
Amazing! Human bodies are susceptible to injuries, illnesses, and trauma. We never know when an injury may happen to the people we love, or us, or those who are around us. Why do we need to have some basic knowledge on first aid?
Ma'am, having a basic first aid knowledge means that you will be confident in your skills and abilities in relation to first aid administration.
Excellent! Thus, it is always good to have some basic knowledge to take care of critical situations, keep it from bad to worse, or till the medical help arrives. For your last activity, reflection part, directions. Answer the guide question and write your answer on a separate sheet of paper. Here is the question. Why is having knowledge and skills in first aid important? That's all for today, my dear learners. I hope you have learned a lot from our discussion. Always remember, unintentional injuries cannot be avoided. It happens at any time, at any place, to anybody. We must always, therefore, practice safety awareness. But when injuries occur, appropriate knowledge and skills of the proper application on first aid could greatly help alleviate pain, preventing further injury, prolonging, and even saving lives. Do not forget to message your respective MAPEH teachers through their mobile phones or messenger chats if you have questions. I would like to acknowledge the teachers behind this RBI lesson. Teacher Mark John R. Domingo, our script writer. Teacher Fausto S. Maneja Jr., our content editor. Teacher Beverlyn L. Ramirez, our language editor. Teacher Arnel Villagasca, our technical specialist. And our overall quality assurance team, Ma'am Jacqueline L. Partible, Head Teacher 3 of Filipino Learning Area. Sir Ferdinand G. Del Rosario, Head Teacher 3 of ESP Learning Area. Ma'am Emily C. Valenzuela, Head Teacher 3 of Araling Panlipunan Learning Area. Sir Leonidas C. Bernardo, Head Teacher 3 of MAPEH Learning Area. And Dr. Rodrigo V. Pascua, Chief Education Supervisor and Officer in charge of the school. This is your radio teacher, Teacher Monica G. Limpin, leaving a message: be a hero, save lives. First aid is for everyone, everywhere. Thank you everyone and goodbye! Coming up next is our RBI live discussion.
Music, arts, physical education, and health. Mga aralin na dapat malaman, inyong tututukan dito sa Dance Radio. Ang istasyong magbibigay ng edukasyon kahit saan. Ito ang 106.3 Dance Radio. Totonia Aurora National High School, Santa Rita, Aurora, Isabela. Ang silid-aralan sa radyo. 106.3 DWDR-FM. Dance Radio. Sa MAPEH, learning is amazing.
Dance Radio, sinig-aralan sa radyo, atid namin makabago, paraan ang pagtuturo.
Wala nang makakapigil pa. Sulong Arangkada 106.3 Dance Radio sa Aurora, Isabela.
Edukasyo'y susulong, basta na magtulong-tulong,
Okay, we're back. Yan, Sir Ibes, napakinggan natin ang RBI. So our lesson a while ago in our RBI is about unintentional injury, prevention, safety, and first aid. Let's empower it later. Yan. This time, let's have a short review. Let's play a game titled Tanong Ko, Sagot Mo. Answer the questions correctly. Comment your answer in our chat box or you may text or call 0915-380-1112. Number mo, Sir Ibes, baka gusto na rin nila mag-text.
0997-842-5130.
Yes, may pinakamaraming may bibigay na sagot ay siyang mananalo ng 20 pesos load na ibibigay mamaya ni Sir Dante through GCash.
Yes.
Ayan, let's start our review. Pa-flash naman, Sir Jasil. Okay, balik tanaw tayo before we proceed to our discussion. Okay, let's have the first question, Sir Ibes.
So, our first question is, what are the classification of drug of abuse?
Ayan, ang dami natin na pag-aralan na classification ng drug of abuse last quarter na kung saan kasali si Drugo that time. Remember?
Yes, yung Drugo ni Sir MJ.
Ayan, sagot na using our chat box. May sumagot na ba, Sir Ibes?
Antayin natin saglit, Sir. Meron na ba, Sir Mark?
Ayan, sabi ni Tracy Ann Santiago from 9 Darwin. Nabasa mo ba, Sir Ibes?
Tracy Ann Santiago, Sir?
Yes?
Yes, meron siya dito, Sir. Sabi niya, gateway drugs, depressant drugs, stimulant drugs, narcotics, hallucinogens, and inhalants. Tama ba siya?
Tignan natin kung tama si Tracy, kung mananalo ba siya ng 20 pesos load from Sir Ibes. Okay?
Dandanan.
Yeah, number 1, gateway drugs, depressant drugs. Sige, basahin mo, Sir Ibes.
Stimulant drugs, narcotic drugs, hallucinogens, and inhalants. There we have it. There are 6 classification of drug of abuse.
Ayan, sige. Tignan natin ang pangalawa. This is a situation. Sabi dyan, while walking home from school, a stranger approached you and offers something. He says it smells good, tastes good, and will help you improve your studies and school performance. How will you respond on the situation? Sige, Sir Ibes, basahin mo yun nasa mga sagot nila sa chat box. At tanungin ko nga ang ating mga estudyante from our Zoom platform. Pakita nga natin, Sir, kung sino ang nandyan. Nakapasok na estudyante. Kung ano ang gagawin nila. May we hear an answer coming from Angeli. Si Angeli muna ang gusto kong marinig. Angie, ano ang gagawin mo?
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Sir, ang gagawin ko po tatalikuran ko po siya and sabihin ko muna po na ayoko din. Tatalikod po ako, hindi siya papansinin.
Bakit ka tatalikod, Angie, at hindi mo siya papansinin?
Sir, kasi po alam ko yung kapahamakan na ibibigay niya sa akin.
Okay, very good. So, sabi niya, magre-refuse siya. Napakinggan mo, Sir Ibes, yung sinabi ni Angie?
Yes, sir.
Okay, ano naman ang sabi ng ating mga estudyante na nag-chat sa ating chat box?
Meron rin tayo dito sa ating chat box from grade 9 Mendel, si Melanie Sagusyo. If someone gives me something, I will refuse since I have no idea if it is good or bad, and it could be drugs. Also, I am unfamiliar with her. Strangers should not be trusted.
Ayan, very good naman ang ating mga estudyante na nasa Zoom, tapos yung mga estudyante natin na gumagamit ng chat box, and of course, yung mga nagtitext. Very good. So the previous quarter provides an overview on the impact of drugs in our lives. Healthy alternatives are effective strategies to educate, advocate, and promote drug-free community and instill in the youth that drugs are not good and it will only destroy lives, family, and community. So don't forget wag na wag kayong gagamit ng drugs. Okay, now, Maliban sa drugs, bilang isang salot ng ating lipunan, ipagpapatuloy natin. Let's try to connect it with our topic today. Ang ating komunidad ay marami pa rin kinaharap na mga sigalot o problema. Sa asignaturang Filipino at Araling Panlipunan ay iminulat tayo ng mga katutubong Pilipino o ang mga Pilipino sa pangkalahatan ay maraming paniniwala na kung saan hanggang sa ngayon ay dala-dala natin ang mga paniniwalang ito. Tingnan nga natin ang mga paniniwalang ito hinggil sa mga aksidente at saka sakuna. Sir Ibes?
Okay, tignan natin ang ating first picture. Ano po ang nakikita nyo dyan?
Ayan, para sa mga nakikinig sa radyo, sa ating larawan may isang lalaking palabas ng kanyang tahanan.
Then,
at isang larawan din ng itim na
pusa.
Ano nga bang ibig sabihin nito?
Pwede kayong mag-chat sa ating chat box. Mag-comment po kayo kung ano sa palagay ninyo ang meaning ng situation na ito.
Ayan. Na-experience mo na rin ba, Sir Ibes, about this particular situation?
Yes po. Ayan, may sumasagot daw, sabi ni Sir, si Melanie Sagusio again from grade 9 Mendel, the black cat represents bad luck. Yun po yung sagot ni Melanie.
Yan. So, it represent bad luck. Ayan, ang daming sumagot ng bad luck. Ayan. So, very good. So, ano nga bang ibig sabihin nito? Sabi rin naman sa chat box natin, this is in Zoom. It signifies bad luck. Sabi niya, bad luck din.
Yes,
Totoo
sir.
ba yan, Sir Ibes? Ano nga ba ibig sabihin nito?
Sabi dito, pwede nangangahulugang ito ay malas. Second, may masamang mangyayari. Third, wag nang tumuloy sa pupuntahan.
Baka maaari kang maaksidente or kaya naman masakuna. Okay,
Yes,
next.
sir.
Let's have the next picture. Ayan. Sa pangalawang picture, para sa mga nakikinig sa radyo, makikita nyo dyan ang bagyo, ang pagbaha, sunog at aksidente ng mga sasakyan sa daan. Ano naman ang ibig sabihin nito? Gusto kong makarinig from sige, sumagot lang sa ating chat box. Gusto kong mapakinggan ang representative or sa ating Zoom platform. Kung ano naman ang ibig ipakahulugan nito. Sige nga. May I hear from Christian Bino? Christian, ano ang ibig sabihin niyan? Christian?
Hello po.
Hello?
Audible po.
Yan. Anong ibig sabihin niyan, anak?
Sir, calamities are commonly associated po with the punishment from God po. It may be because the people have done something wrong that God doesn't like po.
Okay, very good. Sabi rin ni Kwan, ito una, pag may nagkakasakit sa pamilya, or kaya naman nasakuna, ang ginagawa ng mga Ilocano, they are doing the atang para gumaling ang may sakit.
Yes,
Ano
sir.
nga ba ang atang? Atang ay isang salitang Ilocano na ang katumbas sa salitang Tagalog ay alay or handog na salitang Ingles ay offering. Naniniwala ang mga Ilocano kapag nag-atang sila, ang kanilang nasakuna or may sakit na kapamilya ay gagaling. Sa ating naman mga kapatid ng mga Igorot, Kalinga at Ipugaw na nasa Mountain Province or even dito sa Aurora, may mga kapatid tayo from the Kalinga, naniniwala sila sa salitang Kanyaw. Wherein that Kanyaw is a festival, a liturgy and offering where animals are offered as a thanksgiving. Nakalagay ito, this is for marriage and for healing. So yan yung mga paniniwala ng ating mga kapwa Pilipino. Iba-iba man ang ating paniniwala, Sir Ibes, may pinaniniwalaan pa rin
Yes,
tayo,
sir.
dapat mag-ingat pa rin tayo palagi. Sapagkat naniniwala ako sa sinasabi nilang, prevention is better than cure. Practicing this principle advocates safety awareness. which is essential in achieving quality of life. Saan ka man naroroon, kanino, ano ka man, bata ka man, matanda ka man, pwede kasing mangyari ang aksidente sa atin. So therefore, it is very important for us to learn our topic this morning. Para sa ganon, maligtas natin ang ating sarili, ang ating mga mahal sa buhay at ang ibang tao pagdating ng mga injuries or ng mga aksidente. So this morning, we will be focusing about unintentional injuries. But the question is, what is injuries? Or what are injuries? How can we classify them? Tignan natin. Once we talk about injuries, an injury is a damage to the body. It is a general term that refers to harm caused by traffic, collision, drowning, poisoning, falls, burns, and violence from assault, self-inflicted violence, or act of war. We can classify them into two. The first one is unintentional injury, which is our topic today. Unintentional injury, hindi ito sinasadya. Maaari ito ay aksidente or maaari ito ay dahilan ng mga kalamidad. Ang intentional naman ay sinasadya in our vernacular term. Ito ay maaaring assault, self-inflicted, violence, or act of war. Ano ang sinasabi ng statistics, Sir Ibes?
Okay, according to our statistics, as of last year, the leading causes of death for unintentional injury includes unintentional poisoning, yan dahil sa mga pagkain, yung napapanis ay nakakain siguro, unintentional poisoning, unintentional motor vehicle. Okay? Pwede din sigurong self-accident dito sa motor vehicle natin. Unintentional drowning or yung mga pagkalunod, and unintentional falls and natural disasters, yung mga biktima ng mga kalamidad na nawawala siguro, namamatay, nalulunod, considered dito sa ating unintentional falls and natural disasters. Makikita natin sa ating PowerPoint presentation yung mga percentage per reason kung bakit meron tayo nitong unintentional injury.
Mapapansin natin, Sir Ibes, sa ating mga learners on na nanonood at nakikinig sa ngayon, that particular pie is a representation actually ng mga aksidente na pwedeng mangyari, at mapapansin ninyo, others 33% na dyan, napapaloob yung mga natural calamities. Of course, pag may mga natural calamities na yan, maraming nawawalan ng buhay.
Yes, sir.
Maaaring ito ay nalulunod and etc. Kaya nga naman, nabuo ang tinatawag nating Republic Act 10121 or Republic Act 10121. This is an act strengthening the Philippine Disaster Risk Reduction and Management System, providing for the National Disaster Risk Reduction Management Framework, and institutionalizing the National Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Plan, appropriating fund therefore and for other purposes. Dito po mapasok yung tinatawag nating DRRM or Disaster Risk Reduction Management. Bakit nga ba mahalaga ang pagtuturo ng DRRM? Tanungin nga natin ang ating mga learners.
Mag-comment po sa ating chat box.
Comment down your answer. Bakit mahalaga ang DRRM? Sige, anyone from the Zoom na pwedeng sumagot kung bakit mahalaga ang DRRM? Come on. Yeah. Anyone from the group? Volunteer? Come on. It seems Angie wants to talk. Sige, Angie. Angie? Angeli? Sa comment box, Sir Ibes, ano ang sabi nila? Yan, si Angie. Come on, Angie. Bakit mahalaga ang DRRM, Angie?
Sir, naririnig po ba ako?
Yeah, naririnig ka clear.
Sir, mahalagang matutunan po ang tungkol sa DRRM sapagkat dito po hinihanda tayo sa mga posibleng sakuna o mangyayari sa ating buhay. nagkakaroon din po tayo ng kaalaman kung paano tutugon o aaksyon sa mga sakuna o aksidente na nangyayari sa ating paligid. Hindi lamang po yon, sapagkat natututo din po tayo magbigay ng karampatang lunas o pansamantalang lunas sa mga tao na disgrasya o nasugatan.
Okay, very
Kaya,
good.
marapat lamang na ating itong matutunan nang sa gayon tayo ay palagi handa sa mga bagay-bagay na nangyayari sa paligid. Yun lamang po, sir. Thank you po.
Thank you, Angie.
Meron din tayo dito nag-chat sa ating chat box, sir. From 9 Darwin, si Natasha Perltan, to be prepared and calm in times of emergency.
Dito sa ating bayan, Sir Ibes, sa DRRM, we have our, di ba sa ibang bansa, they are using 911?
Yes,
Here
sir.
in Aurora, we are using that 811. That is our MDRRMO na kung saan kami mga kalamidad or disgrasya, pwede nating tawagan ang ating 811 at darating sila para tumulong. Ayan. Okay. Para mas lalo nating ma-empower ang topic natin this morning, let us try to watch a certain video. Then later on, I will be asking you a question. Dito tayo magsisimula, Sir Ibes. Let's watch this. Okay. Para sa mga nanonood nakikinig sa radyo, nakita natin ang isang pangyayaring naganap sa bayan ng San Manuel na kung saan isang motorcycle driver na tawag dito nahagip ng cargo truck. Natanggal yung gulong ng cargo truck at yun nga makikita natin na nasakuna yon driver ng motorcycle. Sa mga ganyang pagkakataon, malayo ang hospital, wala ring mga medical practitioners, ano dapat ang ating gagawin? Okay. Ano ang dapat gawin?
Sumagot na.
Sumagot na. Sagot-sagot na. At mamaya ay palalawakin na natin ang ating talakayan. May sumagot na ba, Sir Ibes?
Wala pa.
Ayan. Sabi ni... Meron na sumagot, Sir Ibes. Actually, ang dami nang sumagot.
Ay, eto. Yes, sir. Nababasa ko na.
Yan. Medyo nahuli lang siguro.
Yes.
Sabi nila, Sir, first aid daw. Tama ba, Sir Ibes?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yun
come on.
yung nakikita ko dito, first aid. Tama. Tama po yung inyong sagot. We need to apply first aid immediately. The question is, are you knowledgeable enough with the skills or basic of first aid? If not, listen carefully and learn what to do if in case of emergency. Welcome to our first safety adventure on basic of first aid. So, ano nga ba ang meaning ng first aid? So, based on our definition on our PowerPoint presentation here, first aid is an immediate and temporary care given to a person who suddenly gets ill or injured. It includes self-help and home care if medical assistance is not available or delayed. It can mean the difference between life and death in extreme cases. However, we must know the limits of the first aid we can give because improper first aid can actually do more harm than good in some instances. Anyone who gives first aid is a first aider.
Okay, pero hindi lahat ay pwedeng maging first aider.
Yes, sir.
Kailangan matutunan. That's why it's very important to have this particular topic regarding basic of first aid.
Yes, sir. Kasi nga sabi dito, it can save life or you can worsen the situation.
Okay, sige. Sorry, Bes?
So, what are the roles of first aid? Ano nga ba yung mga roles nila?
Okay, here are the roles of first aid. First, It fills the gap between the victim and the physician. Okay, of course, the first aider will be doing mag-a-apply siya ng first aid while waiting for the physician. Second, it's not intended to compete or to take the place of the service of the physician kasi mag-a-apply ka.
Yes,
And of course,
sir.
the third one, it ends when the service of this physician begins. Kapag na-turn over mo na sa physician, automatically, tapos na ang role mo under first aid.
Yes,
And of
sir.
course, napakalaga ng first aid because of the following objectives. First is to save lives. Second, of course, to prolong life. And the third one is to alleviate suffering and prevent further injury. Take note of this. We're applying first aid for saving the lives of others.
Yes.
Okay. Yan.
So ano nga ba yung mga attitudes or characteristics kung ikaw ay first aider? So ito, a first aider must be first, gentle, does not cause pain and panic. So, dapat ikaw mismo rin na magbibigay ng first aid ay hindi ka rin nagpapanik kasi pag nakita yan ng biktima natin, magpapanik siya kasi hindi naman niya ata alam gagawin niya, something like that dun sa ating biktima. Number 2, observant, notices all signs. We need to be observant kasi pagdating mismo ng doktor na magbibigay na ng lunas talaga is pwede tayong matanong kung ano yung mga naging signs ng biktima natin na makakatulong para ma-save yung life ng ating pasyente. Number 3, resourceful, makes the best use of things at hand. Oo nga naman, hindi naman natin alam talaga kung kailan darating yung aksidente. At kung nangyari man yon, at least we have idea kung ano yung pwede nating gamitin para makapag-save ng life. Next, tactful, does not frighten the victim. Huwag mong takutin yung biktimahan mo, ibagbaga nga, matay ka sa mitin, mga ganyan. Nagadado ti dugo, nga rumwar kanya, ano nga ito, Brian. Wag pong sasabihin yon sa ating mga victims. And then, next is, the last one is, be sympathetic, comforts and reassures the victim. Andyan na, parating na yung tulong, yung doktor na magsisave sa buhay mo, something like that.
Yes.
Wag maging tactful, wag takutin yung biktima natin.
Bear that one in your mind, the different characteristic of a first aider. Para sa ganon, ma-execute mo na tama ang application ng first aid. Now, aside from the characteristic, we need to learn also the do's in giving the first aid. Ano nga ba ang dapat nating tandaan? First, nabanggit mo kanina, dapat kalmado, Sir Ibes.
Yes, sir.
Gentle. First is do stay calm. Second, do reassure and comfort the victim. Yan yung sinasabi mo kanina sa characteristic. And third, do check for a medical bracelet indicating a condition such as epilepsy or diabetes. May mga tao kasi, may mga biktima, sir, kasi na gumagamit ng, medical bracelet at sometime yun,
Yes, sir.
necklace na kung saan nakalagay doon yun history ng biktima. Malalaman mo ano yung sakit niya, something like that. Next, do loosen any tight clothing para sa ganun ay makahinga ng maayos ang biktima. And the fifth one, do keep the victim covered to reduce shock.
Yes,
Pakatandaan
sir.
nyo yan, ha? Those are the do's in giving the first aid. At ito yung don'ts in giving first aid. Number 1, don't give food and drink to an unconscious person.
Yes,
Bakit
tama
kayo,
yan.
Sir Ibes?
Siyempre, sir, naman unconscious.
So, ngalam timakan, painumin, kit
Oo.
unconscious na garudin.
Yes,
Siyempre, kailangan, dito, wag mong gagawin yon. Mas lalo pang mabablock yung airway.
Yes, sir.
I-revive natin yung victim. And of course, don't move an injured person unless you need to place her in the recovery position. If in case na yung victim ay nasa danger naman siya, gitna ng daan, by all means naman, kailangan mo yan na i-move. Pero may mga pagkakataon na hindi po pwede. Kung na-observe mo an experience of mine is, may nakasalubong kami na bangga, nasa gitna ng daan. So ang ginawa nila, tumawag muna sila ng ng mga medical practitioner para makita. Hindi mo kasi pwedeng gawin. What if namatay yung biktima?
Yes, sir.
Pwede kanilang pagkasalanan. So ang ginagawa nila, hindi nila ginagalaw ito bagkos tinuturo yung way sa mga sasakyan para doon dumaan. So
Yes,
those
sir.
are the don'ts in giving first aid. This is just the first adventure that we have Na-familiarize natin ang definition ng first aid, the role, the importance of first aid, the characteristic, and the principle of first aid. Okay. Now, the next video will lead us to the second adventure. Let's watch this one.
Kung tayo ay makasaksi ng isang motorcycle accident at nais tumulong, narito ang mga maaari nating gawin. Una, pumarada sa ligtas na lugar. Humingi ng tulong sa paligid upang i-direct ang traffic papalayo sa biktima. Mahalaga na tukuyin mismo kung sino ang hinihingan ng tulong. Pangalawa, tingnan ng maigi ang paligid ng aksidente kung may anumang peligro. I-check din ang kanyang motorsiklo kung may tumutulong gasolina o langis. Kapag natiyak na wala ng panganib, agad patayin ang makina ng motor ng biktima at itayo ito. Ikatlo, tumawag ng tulong sa mga emergency medical services. Bigay sa kanila ang mahalagang detalye tulad ng pinangyarihan ng aksidente, anong klase ang aksidente at ilan ang biktima sa aksidente. Ikaapat, buksan ang visor ng helmet ng biktima. Tapikin ang balikat nito para malaman kung may malay siya. Kausapin siya at siguraduhin na may paparating na tulong. Samahan ng biktima habang wala pa ang rescue team. Ang mga simpleng steps na ito ay makatutulong ng malaki sa isang biktima ng motorcycle accident.
Okay. Tanungin natin ang ating mga learners. Using the chat box, ano ang napanood ninyo na video? Ano ang tungkol dito? Ayan. Sige. Sir, basahin mo, Sir Ibes, kung ano yung mga sagot nila, kung ano yung patungkol sa napanood nilang video. Ingat-ingat tayo ha, Sir Jacil, Sir Francis, Sir Dennis, and Sir Mark, in regards to this, manood tayo at malalaman natin kung ano dapat nating gawin.
Sir, meron ng sumagot from grade 9 Darwin, si Tracy Ann Bulilan. The video is all about the steps in a motorcycle accident. Sabi rin dito ni Melanie, the video demonstrates how to give first aid to someone who has been in a motorcycle accident. Tama ba, Sir Dante?
Yes, very good. That's correct,
Yes.
Sir Ibes. So let's welcome our grade 9 to their second safety adventure. This will be very exciting because generally, we will be assessing now emergency situation. On your screen, there is a diagram on this step in assessing emergency situation. There are 5. Actually, ito ay na-impart na sa ating RBI pero pahapyawan lang natin ito, Sir Ibes.
Yes, sir.
Para ma-refresh ang ating mga estudyante sa kanilang napakinggan. Here are the different steps. First, is anyone in danger? Kung may in danger na victim, alamin ninyo kung ang severe ba, kaya bang lapatan ito ng first aid? Kapag hindi, call for an emergency. Call 811. Second, move to the quietest victim. Paano yan? Tapikin mo. Alamin mo kung may malay tao ang biktima. Kapag walang malay tao ito, transfer mo sa pinaka-safe na area. Then after that one, we proceed to the third one. We need to open the airway. Kailangan i-tilt natin ang kanyang, tawag dito, head. Tignan ang airway niya. Saan ba ang airway niya? Sa ilong, sa bunganga. Kung may nakasalpak sa bunganga niya, tanggalin mo yun sapagkat ito ay hindi nakakatulong sa kanyang paghinga o yun ang dahilan ng hindi niya paghinga. After opening the airway, we need to check for breathing. Number 4 is check for breathing. How are we going to check for breathing? We have the nose. Humihinga ba yan? Sa bunganga. We have also on the part of the diagram whether humihinga ito or hindi. And the number 5 is look for signs of circulation. Paano natin malalaman ang signs of circulation? Using the different pulse area. Pwede dito sa may wrist, pwede dito sa may carotid artery, pwede rin dito sa may, tawag dito, sa may noo, noo dito sa may
sentido.
Pwede rin dito sa ating dibdib, pwede rin sa singit,
Sa
pwede rin
singit.
sa puwet.
Yes.
Meron tayong mga pulse dyan sa mga part na yan. So ulitin ko, the 5 step in assessing emergency situation. Is anyone in danger? Number 1. Second, move to the quietest victim. Third, open the airway. Fourth, check for breathing. And 5, look for sign of circulation. Pag walang breathing, walang circulation, that's the time you proceed to the CPR or the Cardiopulmonary Resuscitation. Okay?
Yes.
So yun ang dapat nating gawin. But as a first aider, Sir Ibes, we must familiarize the different signs and symptoms on the victim kasi makakatulong ito ng malaki sa atin bilang first aider. Ano nga ba ang pagkakaiba ng dalawa, Sir Ibes?
Okay, so madalas nating naririnig yung signs and symptoms. Pero ano nga ba ang ibig sabihin nito? Meron ba silang pagkatulad or pagkaiba? Pag sinabi nating signs, those are the details discovered by applying your senses. Ito ay pwedeng makita, matouch, marinig, and maamoy during the course of the examination. What are examples of signs? First is bleeding. So makikita natin yung pagdurugo ng ating biktima. Number 2 is swelling, pamamaga. Okay? Pwede nating makita yan or it can be pwedeng hawakan. Okay? And then deformities or pagkaiba ng shape nung normal na structure ng katawan natin. Lalong-lalo na ito sa mga bones natin, itong deformities. And yun yung signs natin discovered by applying your senses. Pag sinabi namang symptoms, are sensation that the victim feels more on dun sa biktima. Pwede natin itong matanong or pwede itong masabi ng nakaka-experience or ng biktima. Example ay pagkahilo. Of course, siya lang naman ang makakaramdam. Hindi mo yan makikita sa kanya. Or kung makikita mo man lang yan, ay sasabihin yan ng ating biktima. Vomiting also. And then, heat. And then, impaired sensations. So, that is the difference between signs and symptoms. Okay? There are 2 ways to conduct physical examination when giving first aid. Ano nga ba itong mga ito, Sir Dante?
Sir Ibes, napakalaga ng signs and symptoms niyan sapagkat magagamit natin once we execute this particular conducting physical examination to the victim. There are 2. The first one is the primary survey. Ang primary survey ay ginagawa kapag ang biktima ay walang malay tao. Wala siyang breathing, wala rin siyang circulation. And what are we going to do? We need to apply, of course, the Dr. ABC here. So the first one that we're going to do is to check for consciousness. May malay tao ba yan or wala? If not, we're going to demonstrate this one. The Dr. ABC na tinatawag ko. Letter B is open the airway. Yan, nasabi ko na kanina yan sa emergencies. After opening the airway, you need to check for breathing. Nasabi ko na rin kung saan mga part ang kailangang alamin kung may breathing ba ang isang biktima or wala. And the third one is check for circulation. Pag walang circulation, you apply the CPR. Ang CPR kasi is another topic na naman under first aid. Medyo mahaba ito. At siguro, sa follow-up natin later, we can give our students an information regarding CPR. Okay? Now, after the primary survey, kunyari, na-revive na natin yung victim, i-apply na nga natin ngayon ang secondary survey. Ang secondary survey ay ginagawa kapag may malay tao na ang isang biktima. And there are steps that we are going to follow under the secondary survey. Letter A, we need to have the history taking. Alamin natin yung mga pangyayari. And here, we are actually following the sample pain mnemonics. Wherein, S stands for symptoms, yung chief complaint ng patient. A stands for allergy, may allergy ba ang ating victim? Kapag meron, alam natin ang gagawin natin, kung ano yung bibigay natin gamot, or anong papainom natin sa kanya. Medication. What are the medicines she's currently or taking? Napakalaga nito. P, previous illness. May sakit ba siya dati? Letter L, last meal. Ang last meal, alamin lang natin yan kapag mag-undergo ng operation ang victim. Letter E, what is the event prior to what happened? Alamin mo yan. Letter P, period of pain. How long? What started? Okay? A, yung area. Saan ba yung bahagi ng katawan na masakit? Gaano kasakit for I, intensity? At letter N, nullify, kailan nag-stop? Napakahalaga ng history taking because the sample pain ay malalaman mo kung ano ang nangyari sa biktima. And of course, as a first aider, you have something to share or to tell to the practitioner or sa physician kapag ka dumating siya. Under secondary survey rin, papasok din dito yung tinatawag nating checking for vital signs. Ano yung mga vital signs na kailangan nating malaman? Pulse rate, we have also temperature, respiration, and of course, the skin color. Pulse rate natin, ang normal natin is 60 to 100 per minute. Ang temperature naman natin is 36.5 degrees Celsius to 37 degrees Celsius. Ang ating respiration naman na paghinga is 1 to 16 per minute. And of course, yung kulay natin, normal, can be white, it can be yellow, it can be black, or it can be brown. Kit nagbalviolet ata niya, Sir Ibes, tikulay mo na niya kaya nasa awinin, maaaring malapit o kaya sobrang puti mo na,
Yes.
namumutla ka na, there is something wrong on that. Okay? And of course, the last one under secondary survey is head-to-toe examination. Under this one, we need to check the head and neck. Second, the eyes. Third, chest. Fourth, the abdomen. And number 5, the back. Kung may mga parts diyan na hindi okay, lalo na sa part ng head, bakit nauna ang head and neck? Kasi yan ang pinaka-dangerous part ng ating katawan. So that's the primary and secondary survey. Ayan. We have the first and the second adventure, Sir Ibes.
Yes, sir.
May kailangan pa kaya na malaman ng ating mga mag-aaral? Mag-end na ba tayo sa first and second adventure?
Hindi pa, sir.
We
Marami
still have
pa.
one. Let's watch this one. Ano ang pwedeng mangyari na aksidente or injuries sa particular scenario na ito? Let's watch this.
Close out there. What started as a good defense.
Frustrating start para sa kanya. Nilabas ni Javid lahat ng sama ng loob sa ring.
You get a lot of blocks.
Mark, the mini game.
Christian.
Yeah.
I think he said calf.
Ayan, Sir Ibes, it's a basketball game. Ngayon, usong-uso ang basketball, di ba, Sir Ibes?
Yes.
Nagpapaliga ang ating municipality ngayon para sa ating mga kabataan.
Manonood
ano nga
ka?
ba ang pwedeng... Manonood tayo mamaya. It's between Bulinaw versus...
San
Juan. I'm gonna go for Bulinaw. That is my barangay.
The last game after class.
Game. Ayan. So, Sir Ibes, ano mga possible na injuries na pwedeng mangyari dyan sa basketball game between the NLEX and the Barangay Ginebra?
Ito yung mga possible na pwedeng mangyaring mga aksidente. First is dislocation, fracture, sprain, and strain. Pwede ding hit exhaustion, sir.
Alam mo, Sir Ibes, tama lahat ng sinabi mo.
Yes.
And of course, as tawag dito sa mga sports competition na ganyan, minsan din food poisoning.
Yes,
right
sir.
after ng kwan na may nakakain sila na hindi maganda. Ayan. So let's welcome our students in the third adventure. Alam nila yung basic. Alam na nila yung mga emergency step. This time, they're going to apply a particular first aid na. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yung mga nabanggit ni Sir Ibes kanina, yung mga pwedeng mangyari sa kahit kanyo naglalaro ka man or kaya sa'yo, sa sarili mo. Okay? Let's try to have sprain versus strain muna. Pag sinabi natin sprain, a joint sprain is the overstretching or tearing of ligaments. Ligaments are the band of tissues that connect two bones together in a joint. The most common location for a sprain is the ankle joint. They commonly occur during sports. Ang strain naman is more on overstretching of muscles or tendons. Tendons are the tissues that connect bones to muscles. The most common location for a strain are the hamstring muscle sa lower back. They commonly occur during injury, yung pagbubuhat ng mabibigat. Kaya si Sir Francis minsan nagre-reklamo, masakit sa kanyang likuran, maaaring ang na-experience niya ay strain. Okay, here's the picture ng pagkakaiba ng sprain and strain. On your left, mapapansin mo sa ankle yan, sa may ligaments, while the other ones on the part of the tendons sa kung saan sa muscles. And what will be the formula? We need to use the formula RISE, which stands for R for rest, kailangan mong ipahinga ang na-injured na part. ice, yellow, na kung saan kailangan mong balutin yan ng bimpo at idampi mo ito sa part na ni-injured para hindi mag-swell. Letter C, compress, lagyan ng bandage para hindi mag-move ang na-injured na part. And letter E, elevate. So don't forget that one. That is the treatment for sprain and strain rise. Rest, ice, compress, and elevate. Next, sorry, Bes.
So, aside sa sprain and strain, meron din tayong tinatawag na fracture and dislocation. Ano nga ba ang pagkaiba ng fracture and dislocation? Pero ito, both doon sa bone natin na nangyayari itong fracture and dislocation. Pero may pagkaiba sila. Ang fracture is a partial or complete break in the bone. It can be open fracture and closed fracture. Ano itong open fracture? Bone exists and visible through the skin or a deep wound that exposed the bone through the skin. Kita mo na yung tawag nito, yung buto mo. So, lumabas na dyan sa skin natin. And then, closed fracture, bone is broken but the skin is still intact. Yun po yung fracture. Now, sa dislocation naman, also known as luxation, means that a bone is out of its place. Okay? For example, an arm can be out of its place because of the bone dislocation. So, para mas maintindihan natin, let us imagine this one, itong dalawang kamay natin. Ito, dislocate. Okay? Ito kasi nagmi-meet yung dalawang bone natin. Joints ang tawag doon, di ba, Sir Dante? Doon mas nangyayari itong dislocation kasi na ito eh. For example, mali yung pagkabagsak mo, na ganyan siya, that is dislocate. Now, pag fracture, pwedeng dito sa part na ito.
And sa ulna, sa radius,
yes,
mga yan.
yes, sir. Doon sa bone mismo, sa kalagitnaan. Yun yung fracture na tinatawag natin. Yun yung pagkaiba ng fracture and then dislocation. Pero, paano natin ito iti-treat? So, kanina, meron tayong rise. Dito naman, meron tayong price.
Dagdagan lang natin ng P.
Yes, sir. Wherein P stands for protect the injury. Okay, yung injured part natin, stop using the injured limb or pad to protect. So, pag nagkaroon na tayo ng fracture or ng dislocation, we must protect now. Wag na natin itong galaw-galawin or ito yung pambuhat natin, for example, wag na nating gamitin. O, papasok na dito yung R natin, yung rest the injury. So, wag galawin, i-rest yung injury, then we can apply a wrap ice pack or yung ice natin or yung letter I. And then, letter C, comfortable support. Apply a supportive bandage. Pero dapat dito, knowledgeable na tayo kung paano natin i-apply itong bandaging na ito or yung bandage natin. And then, letter E, elevate to reduce the swelling. So,
Okay.
yun po yung price natin.
So, rise, then price.
Price.
This time, let's have the food poisoning. Yan. Nangyayari rin kasi ito sa mga athlete natin. Food poisoning is caused by consuming food or drink that is contaminated with bacteria or viruses. Ano ang mga signs ng food poisoning? Vomiting, diarrhea, headache, abdominal pain, nausea, muscle pain, fever, and dehydration. Ano ang dapat gawin kapag na-food poison? 1. Help the person to lie down and rest. 2, give him plenty flavored less fluid to drink and a bowl to use it if he vomits. And the 3rd one, call for medical help. Always call for medical help if the condition worsen. And of course, the last one, we have heat exhaustion. Yan. Usong-uso yan ngayon dahil sa sobrang init. Heat exhaustion is caused by loss of salt and water due to excessive high temperature. This may lead to heat stroke and even death. Minsan nga nawawalan ng hininga dahil sa sobrang pagod. Di ba sa basketball, you need to run pro and throw. Nakakapagod. So, anong dapat gawin? Transport the victim to a cool place. 2, give him or her plenty of water. And 3, check for vital sign and seek for medical help. So, yun ay ilan lamang sa mga pwede nating ipabigyan ng first aid kapag may nangyaring o mga pangyayaring nagaganap, at alam naman natin that we can do that one using our learning in the first adventure, second adventure, and the third adventure regarding the application of unintentional injury, prevention, safety, and first aid.
Yes.
Yan, marami na natutunan ng ating grade 9, Sir Ibes.
Yes, Sir Dante.
Now, it's time for them to go to the learning activity sheet activities. Ano ba ang gagawin nila, Sir Ibes?
Now that you have learned the basic of first aid, the proper procedure, and proper first aid for unintentional injuries, let us check how far have you understand our lesson. So you do the following activities and assessments that are prepared for you to work on. For activity number 1, titled Emergency, What Will I Do? On page 2 of your learning activity sheet, you're going to read the situations and write the necessary immediate action that you are going to do. Write your answer on a separate sheet of paper.
Okay, next, let's have activity 2. Under activity 2, is he good a first aider? You do that one in a separate sheet of paper. Sir Ibes?
And for activity number 3, titled Share Your Heroism, on page 2 of your last, share your experience where you were able to help other people in an emergency situation by answering the guide questions. Write your answer on a separate sheet of paper.
And for activity 4, this is the performance task, cartoon comic strip. Draw a cartoon comic strip showing a person ready to help other people through her knowledge and skill in first aid. Write or draw the things, qualities, information, skills that he should have in applying first aid. Yan. Of course, we have an alternative activities for those who are not inclined in the field of visual arts. You can do song composition, short story, poem, dance, and blog, following the theme showing a person ready to help other people. And of course, this will be your guide for the evaluation. Clarity, 5 points. Completeness, 5 points. Creativity, 5 points. And skill, 15 points. With a total of 30 points that is in addition to your performance task in the cleanup drive and the tree planting. Paalaala lamang mga grade 9 learners, lalo na po sa ating mga magulang, nagabayan po natin palagi ang ating mga anak sa kanilang pagsasagawa ng kanilang performance task at isaalang-ala po palagi ang ating IATF protocol.
Yes.
Sir Ibes?
Nandyan pa rin ang COVID, ang
Yes.
banta ng COVID.
And
Okay?
of course, don't forget to answer the reflection part and the validating question, Sir Ibes.
In addition to that, sir, dapat answeran din ng mga estudyante, ng mga grade 9 learners kung ano yung ipopost ni Sir Jassel after our airing. And don't forget to mention your name, your section, and the name of your MAPEH teacher so that they can check your answer on our post.
Okay, let's try to summarize what we have discussed. We discussed today about the basic of first aid. We tackled also the different procedure in conducting basic life support. And the third one is we explain the proper application of first aid. Sir Ibes?
Yes, sir. Now, let's check your learning through an evaluation titled Question and Answer. So the direction, listen carefully to the question and comment your answer in our chat box, or you may call via phone or messenger call. Or pwede din yung mga naka-Zoom, pwede po kayong sumagot sa ating evaluation part. So what is the first question here for our evaluation? Which of the following is not good first aider? So basahin natin para sa mga nakapakinig sa ating radio. Student A is very relaxed in controlling the bleeding on her classmate's finger. Letter B, student B is insisting that her unconscious sister to drink water. Letter C, student C makes a use of his clean handkerchief to tie his best friend's bleeding arm. And for letter D, student D speaks comforting words to her cousin who sprained his ankle while playing basketball.
Ayan, ang dami ng sumasagot, Sir Ibes.
O, sino daw dyan ang hindi good first aider? Anong mga sagot nila?
Their answer, from Michaelites, letter B. Abigail de la Cruz, letter B. Tignan natin, Sir Ibes. The answer is letter B. Student B is insisting that her unconscious sister to drink water. Very good.
Wag pa inumin yung nahimatay, kunwari, na
Okay, let's
pasyente.
have letter number 2. As a first aider, you must know the step in assessing emergency situation to save the victim. Which one is the correct steps? Okay, sagot na. Paano nyo i-arrange yan? Number 1, Roman numeral 1, open the airway. Roman numeral 2 is anyone in danger. Roman numeral 3, look for the signs or circulation. Roman numeral 4, move to the quietest victim. And Roman numeral 5, check for breathing. Ano ang sagot nila, Sir Ibes? According to Lance Andre Ballesteros, it's letter A. Karamihan sa kanila, it's letter A. Tingnan
Tama
natin.
ba, sir?
Ayan. Okay, it's letter A. So that is the arrangement on your screen. Very good sa mga sumagot. Ayan. Marami ring sumasagot sa ating Zoom. Now, let's have the third one. O sitwasyon. Application tayo ngayon. Ang iyong kapatid ay naglalaro sa ilalim ng araw ng tanghaling tapat. Walang ano-ano ay nakita mo itong natumba at agad mo itong pinuntahan. At nakita mo na ito'y nangihina. Ano ang iyong gagawin? Makinig tayo sa sagot naman from Zoom. Sir Ibes, tignan mo ang sagot nila sa ating chat box.
Sige,
Patingin
sir.
nga. Gusto ko naman marinig ngayon si Sian Cabunot to answer that particular situation. Sian? Sian?
Yes po, sir.
Ano ang gagawin mo sa sitwasyon na yan, Balo? Ay, anak. Go, Sian. Sian, are you there?
Yes po. Ang una ko pong gagawin is bubuhatin ko po siya tapos ililinong ko po muna. Tapos tatanungin ko po kung ano po yung nararamdaman niya po bago ko po siya lapatan ng first aid, sir.
Ano maaaring nangyari sa iyong kapatid, if ever? Sian? Sian? Sir, Sian, ano nangyari sa kanya?
Na-hit.
Maaring nahilo.
Exhaustion po.
Okay, very good.
Tama rin ba ang sagot nila, Sir Ibes?
Yes, sir. Sabi
Okay,
nila na pwedeng na-heat stroke daw.
Ayan. Sige, very good. Ayan, it shows only na natuto ang ating mga grade 9 learners sa ating Safety Adventure 1, 2, 3. Ready na maging first aid ang ating mga grade 9 learners. And I would like to end up our discussion this morning out of this video at alamin natin ang kanilang natutunan. Let's watch this. Okay? Yung video ay ipapadala namin sa ating group chat later on na magsisilbing part ng inyong reflection part kung ano ang inyong natutunan sa ating video na yan. Ipapadala na lang namin sapagkat wala na po kaming oras. Maraming salamat sa inyong pakikinig sa ating airing ng RBI. Magkita-kita tayo muli sa susunod na airing. Yan. Ako si Sir Dante.
I'm Sir Ives.
Sa MAPEH, learning is
more
amazing.
amazing.
Bye!
Bye!
Music, arts, physical education, and health. Mga aralin na dapat malaman. Inyong tututukan dito sa 106.3 Dance Radio. Ang istasyong nagbibigay ng edukasyon kahit saan man. At ang silid-aralan sa radyo 106.3 DWDR-FM. Sa MAPEH, learning is amazing. Ito ang 106.3 Dance Radio. Dance Radio.
Prepare yourself.
Ang silid-aralan sa radyo, hatid namin ay makabagong paraan ng pagtuturo at kalaman. Mapaumaga, tanghali o hapon man yan. Ang istasyong magbibigay impormasyon kahit saan man.
For something big.
Alright, here we go. 106.3 Dance Radio. Doña Aurora National High School, Santa Rita, Aurora, Isabela. This 106.3 DWDR-FM.